Hello, and welcome to the Family Den.
Well, we got nothing but love for you, baby. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Richard. And over here in the den, we say to talk about anything that's on your mind.
So let's go ahead and get into it with the letter of the day. All right. What we got here? This is from Chantel in Ohio. My boyfriend and I are going on 4 years together. We have one son who is 2 years old. We have completely different parenting styles. The things I feel deserve a spanking goes unpunished, and same with him. He also feels I spend too much on material possessions that my son will either grow out of, break, or just doesn't need. I do these things because I want to give him stuff I've never had. When we try to discuss it, one of us always gets mad and ends up not speaking. How do we communicate without making each other get defensive? That's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. Let's just take this point by point. First of all, you say we have different parenting styles. Now, you're two different people. You got 4 different parents. You were raised in completely different households, probably in different places, whatever.
Yeah.
You're gonna have some different parenting styles, okay? You don't expect him to want to whoop when you don't want to. That's how the kid has balance. If daddy thinks he deserves a whooping, you know what I mean? Then he has somebody to run to say, Mommy, Daddy's trying to hit me. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case is. I ain't trying to say it like it's child abuse or nothing. I know that it's not. But I'm just saying, this is how the child is able to balance this out. If they have nobody to, if you guys were both the same and you ganged up on them on the same things all the time, where would the child go? You know what I mean? The thing is, in a perfect world, you would sit down before you have children and say, hey, I don't like this, you don't like that, so let's come to a common ground. Most often than not, people don't do that, and you end up in the situation where you're in now. So, right now what you need to do is go ahead and have the talk with him. You see that you're having problems, and you know. And let me just say real quick, Janice. I'm sorry. What is her name? I said Janice. Chantel. I'm sorry, Chantel. Let me just go ahead and say that I agree with your man in regards to the material possessions. All right. It's nice to buy them nice things every once in a while. This is how we help them to define who they are. They need to be treated well so that they demand that of the people that are around them. That's how we raising young kings and queens, because they were treated that way as children. But at the same time, we don't want them to be spoiled kings and queens. We want them to have the work ethic to work for it, okay? Don't just give them all sorts of stuff. Instead of buying them Nikes and Jordans, put that money in a savings account for him. He's 2 now. If you did that, instead of buying them these $100 Jordans, put that $100 in a bank account. Just imagine where it would be 16 years from now when he's 18, okay? Just want to throw that out there, all right? At the same time, how do we communicate? Oh, my gosh.
The one thing on my mind...
Without getting defensive, that's what it was, I'm sorry. Without getting defensive, how do we communicate? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, one way we communicate, for one, like she mentioned, you're 2 individuals with totally different backgrounds. The one thing you have to do, respect each other's boundaries. And I'm going to hit on all the points. The one point is the discipline. Again, totally different background, respect each other's boundaries. If one person's going to take the lead on discipline, doing whatever, let him do his thing, and you work it out, you conversate later on that. Now, as far as the material stuff, they have to grow up the same way I grew up. They're going to have to work for everything they get.
Not everything.
Oh, come on. Nah. Nothing in this world is handed to you. No way a $100 jumpsuit should be handed to you either, without putting in some blood, sweat, and tears.
I mean, I don't don't agree with the girl getting Jordans.
Oh, I
But-
definitely no.
But you trade in those $100 Jordans for what the little laptops and the little toys that the kids like every now and again. All I'm saying is every now and again it ain't gonna hurt, you know. Don't make that a regular occurrence. But it sounds like from your letter that he's mad because you're spending too much on material possessions. And you know, don't take it there.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. You have to budget and prioritize because especially clothes, grow out of it, throw it away. You know, like you said, invest it, you know, save some money, and again, make them earn their money. They have to respect nothing. They have to know that nothing is given to you, and you have to instill that. You have to start young, and they can carry that when they get older in life. You know, don't work yourself into the ground trying to keep up with the Joneses. Oh, some stuff that don't mean nothing.
But in the meantime, what she want to know is how do they communicate without the other person getting defensive? Because they get to arguing and, you know, they get to talking about it and it turns into an argument and now nobody's speaking to each other.
Like in a relationship, it's about compromise.
Compromise.
You have to work it out. You win some and you lose some. Now, if she wants to buy that stuff, put her on a budget. Let her know that she can spend such and such amount of money on the things that she likes or she thinks that's important. You know what I mean? It gives her some ownership, and it keeps you from going broke. Put it like that, you know. So that's my thing. That's how you communicate. You set boundaries and you talk. You know, the silent treatment never works. I'm telling you right now, it don't work.
Okay, now I'm gonna take this to another level now. Compromise, I like that. I think that compromise is the way to go, okay? Because, like you said, you know, put her on a budget. This to your man, girl. I know this is your letter, but to your man, I think that that's a good idea. That you should go to your man and let him know. Okay, well, can I at least buy him this? And you guys agree or disagree. The problem that I do somewhat have is. Communication can be a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It could be a little bit congested, for lack of a better word. It's hard to want to communicate when you know, when you feel like it's going in the wrong direction. We could be talking right now and we all good, and then all of a sudden I hit on one certain note and I can see your whole demeanor change. Okay, when you see that the conversation is going to that place where you know that eventually y'all ain't going to be speaking, pull back a little bit. And don't be afraid to voice that. Say, look, I can see you getting a little bit upset. I don't want to upset you, but this is really important to me. Can we please talk about it without you getting upset?
Yeah.
Okay? So that's something that you really want to, in order to communicate without being defensive, you have to let them know that you want to communicate without him getting defensive. Just say it. Just say, hey, I don't want to make you mad, but at the same time, I don't agree with you. I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me. But both of us are this little man's parents. So we have to come to an agreement. Even though we don't agree, we have to come to an agreement. Please don't be mad at me. I love you. Woo-woo, woo-woo. You know what I'm saying? But,
hey, you know what? That's good if it worked that way. But a lot of times, and fellas, I know, it don't end up that way. All women want to be right. You know that.
We are.
They want to be right.
Most of the time we are.
At the same time, y'all sit up there and you talk. As long as it doesn't get to yelling, because when voices start to rise, everybody gets defensive.
Everybody gets
and you don't get nothing accomplished.
Nothing gets accomplished.
So, just talk it out, you know, say your point, he's going to say his point, and you come in the middle, and you make an understanding on that, you know. And it should work out. I hope it ends good, but a lot of times when you discuss things with women, it don't always happen that way.
Wait a minute, hold on. How you gonna say when you discussing things with women like y'all? I'm not discussing it with myself. You know what I'm saying? You there too. You know what? It doesn't matter who you're discussing it with. Nobody wants to feel like they're attacked. You know what I'm saying? If I say, he needs to go to bed or I'm going to whoop him. I don't want to hear you saying, don't whoop my son, don't whoop my son, I'll be, you know, I have an opinion on what he does too.
And that's what, and I understand it, and that's what I pointed on earlier.
And I'm just saying, I don't whoop my kids.
But what I'm saying is, there has to be some boundaries. That's it. You know, if it's opportunity to discipline the kid, let him do his thing, and you know, the kids need the difference anyway. You know, they don't want the same thing from everybody. You know, you got two parents, two different personalities. The kids learn from both. Let him do his thing, and your kids turn out better for it. So.
And let me just say, you know, in most relationships, because you are so different, just like I said in the beginning, because you are so different, you're not going to always communicate on a proper level. You're not going to always be respectful,
yeah.
and it's not going to always have the happy storybook ending. But when you love each other, or you have the common ground to love the son, you know that I can come back later and apologize, and we can work it out when there are clear, level-headed minds, okay? You know, so in closing, I just want to say, how do you communicate? You communicate in love. If you're not communicating in love, you're not communicating at all.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. If it gets loud, take a time out, get the thoughts together, and reconvene on the conversation. And in the end, like she said, if you love each other, it's all going to work out. And if you both love each other, the decision's always going to end up being the right one. So.
Thanks for joining us in Family Den.
All right. See you. Take it easy.